Good Erev Shabbos, everyone. Parshas Shlach in America, Parshas Korach here in Eretz Yisrael. We share a message that is in Parshas Korach, but it applies equally to Parshas Shlach. The Gemara says that B'Rav Biser u'B'Rav Bisru, that Moshe Rabbeinu leveled a threat with the word Rav, and it came right back to get him with the word Rav. What does that mean? That Moshe Rabbeinu turned to Korach when he was making his rebellion, and he said to him, Rav Lochen b'nei Levi, that you've gone high enough, O children of Levi. And when Moshe Rabbeinu wanted to go into the land of Israel, he prayed to Hashem 515 times, and God responded to him, Rav Loch al Tosef. Don't daven anymore. 515 is max. That's it. You're done. So Moshe Rabbeinu, it implies, that Gemara, that Moshe Rabbeinu did something wrong. That he put down the rebellion of Korach by saying, Rav Lechem b'nei Levi, you have enough. You've gone high enough, far enough. And therefore Moshe Rabbeinu got that back because he did it that way. He got it back when he wanted to go into the land of Israel. The only problem with that is, what's the problem? At the end of the day, Korach was rebelling against Moshe, rebelling against the authority of the Jewish people, rebelling against the authority of God, rebelling against Torah Baal Peh. The whole structure and the system, for many, many reasons, our commentaries explain what was really the problem of Korach. But at the end of the day, Korach was rebelling against the Torah, was rebelling against Judaism. What was Moshe Rabbeinu supposed to say to him? I understand how you feel, but maybe what was supposed to be like a therapist to him? Rav Lochem b'nei Levi, stop. It's enough. So why did Moshe Rabbeinu get punished for that? Because many of our rabbis say that if you dig down into what was really motivating Korach, on the first day of Korach's rebellion, was that Korach was looking to get a greater portion in the service of Hashem. And that Korach only wanted to be closer. He wanted to have more of an avodah, more of a portion in the avodah in the service of Hashem. And when Moshe Rabbeinu put him down, Moshe Rabbeinu put him down with the wrong words. Korach needed to be stopped. Korach needed to be told that what he's doing is undermining the very foundations of the Jewish people. That what Korach is doing is that he's undermining fundamental principles of Judaism, fundamental principles of the Torah. But the one word you can never say when somebody is doing this, even if it is misguided, and even if it turns into a personal vendetta against Moshe and Aaron, but its roots were a desire to get closer to God, you can't say, Rav Lochem b'nei Levi, that it's enough for you. When Moshe Rabbeinu wanted to go into the land of Israel, what did Moshe Rabbeinu want? Moshe Rabbeinu wanted to be able to be involved in mitzvahs that he couldn't be involved in outside the land of Israel. It was a totally spiritual thing that Moshe Rabbeinu wanted. God turns to Moshe Rabbeinu and says to him, Rav Loch, I want you to see what this feels like. You've come high enough and far enough. Because the most damaging words that you can say to a human being is that you have climbed far enough. Now that's a beautiful vart. It's a beautiful understanding. But not a lot of people on the outside say that to us. But we say that to us. We say, I've plateaued. I'm good with who I am. My level of religiosity, I'm happy with that. I like what I've become. That's turning to ourselves and saying, Rav Lochem b'nei Levi, you've gone high enough and far enough. The spies were afraid of going into the land of Israel because the spies were afraid that they couldn't live that kind of existence in the land of Israel. They couldn't live an existence where there wasn't clouds and where there wasn't all of those kinds of protections. They didn't trust themselves. They felt that they had gone far enough and high enough. and it couldn't go into the land. They told themselves, Rav Lochem B'nai Levi. They've told themselves that you've come far enough. Those are damaging words when somebody on the outside says them to us. But those are devastating words when we say them to ourselves. There's no Rav Lochem B'nai Levi. There's no limit. There's no ceiling. We can continue to increase our spirituality. We can continue to increase our connection to God. Sometimes we're not necessarily ready to take on more mitzvahs, but we are ready to intensify the mitzvahs that we do. Because we refuse to say to ourselves, Rav Lochem B'nai Levi, it's not enough. I need to find more in this. I need to squeeze more out of this. Sure, I'm davening every day. Sure, I'm learning every day. But how do I squeeze the max out of this? That was what Moshe Rabbeinu said to Korach and his buddies. That's what God said to Moshe Rabbeinu. That's what the spies were worried about. And that's what we have to remember, that those words have to be banished from our lives. It's never high enough, and it's never far enough, and it's never too much, because there's always more to do. Everybody should have a beautiful, wonderful, amazing Shabbos.